Hi folks, welcome to the channel and thanks for joining me. So today we're going to take a quick look at these Phil Taylor darts from Target. Now, as only a tiny channel, you may already know that I focus on quite a lot of the cheaper darts. I've done a review on, well, lots of reviews actually, on brass darts, on tungsten effect darts, silver coloured, brass coated darts and all kinds of stuff to see if there's any sort of real good darts at a lower price point. And these came up on one of my browsing searches. And as a collector, I kind of try and keep my eye out for bits and pieces at all different price points really. And these were on sale from about £35 down to £19.99. I thought, I've not seen these before. Now, I do have a couple of different Phil Taylor generations in the collection, plus some GX2s and things like that as well. So they're the kind of premium with, exquisite milling, 95% tungsten and things like that. But these ones are legit tungsten darts. Now they are, and I say only, but they are 80% tungsten, so they're not your regular player series that tend to be 90 or 95%. But what it does mean is that we should be able to get a decent weight, a decent small barrel for the size, and they should throw more like a traditional 90% dart than a brass one at least. So I've already taken the liberty of opening the box because I like to keep all these boxes and things nice and tidy for the collection. I don't want to rip and tear it on video just here, because one of the other things as well is it does come with a month's dart counter, so that's pretty cool. That's again something you see on the more expensive players sort of series of darts, so that's quite nice to have. Now here we go then. So what's in the box? Well, first up, it does come with 9 Pro Grip stems. Now, one of the criticisms I've made of the cheaper sets, although admittedly yes, they're made to a certain price point, is they say they come with Pro Grip stems, but there's always something a bit strange about them. They're not quite right. The material doesn't look quite right. They don't feel quite right. But this is exactly how they arrive in the box. There's a proper retail package of, you can see the black, white and blue Pro Grip stems just there. Just a quick observation though, something I always say on the cheaper sets is when they give you 3 sets of these, but it doesn't allow you to tune the darts because they are ultimately all the same length. So it might be quite nice if you're doing a multi-pack or more than one set of stems and indeed flights. It would be to perhaps to give you different lengths and different size, maybe a number 2 flight and number 6 flight and things like that, so that you could tune the darts as well. But nonetheless, at least you can colour code them. So if you and maybe your friends have got a set, you can tell which ones are which. So that's the stems, but also they come with proper target flights as well. And again, as per the stems, the cheaper packages often have not quite right flights, if you can put it like that. There's something about the material, the way they act, the way they fold. Yeah, they're not really legit, as it were, whereas these are Target's proper vision flights. So that's really nice to have in a set, especially for £20. So okay, so that's the bits and pieces that you get with it, but also you get the case here, like a leatherette vinyl Target case, which has got a flight holder at the front, very traditional style, and you can see the flap on there. Perfect, happy days. Right, okay, so that's the kind of contents and the accessories. As for the darts themselves, you've got a Target branded point holder. I'll try and hold this steady so it'll stay in focus. And there you've got the barrels themselves. Now you may notice straight away they don't look anything like the traditional Phil Taylor barrel, and you'd be quite right. He's much more used to a loaded kind of front end, more of a kind of the bomb shape as it were, whereas these are definitely more of a straight barrel. Now in terms of the grip, well, we'll take it from the front actually. We've got plain black points just on there, and I don't know what they are actually. I'll measure them while we're here. They're probably around 25-26 mil. Yeah, so they are 26mm black smooth points. The barrel as well, just while I'm here, is around about 53mm, and I'll give you the width as well just while I've got the caliper in my hand just here, and it's about 6.6. So there we go. Right, so in terms of the detail then, I'll come in closer in a second with an inset shot, but effectively we've got a bit of a bull nose, which is nice, because quite often a lot of these cheaper darts don't have that, and they can be terrible for snagging on the flight as they come in. Now, because you can't change the points to something like, say, a storm point or something like that that actually comes out and flares at the nose here, you need the barrel to be able to do that if you can't change the point yourself. And this one is perfect for that, so it's nice and smooth, goes all the way down into the point. Then we've got some ring grips, simple ring grips really at the front, and probably slightly more aggressive, slightly deeper or crisper in the middle, and then some real chunky kind of bitey thread at the back, a little smooth section there, and some, again, just sort of ring cuts with the black paint, which makes them quite attractive just in between the various regions. So that's the barrel, and I've got to say they feel lovely. But they're 80% tungsten, so for £20 that I got them for, they really feel much more like a premium dart than a cheap one that's dressed up or pretended to look like a good dart, if that makes sense. Got the nice little Target logo laser etched in the so-called dreaded smooth section, which I don't actually mind actually, but there you go. And yeah, so it's not like a Phil Taylor dart at all. It doesn't look like one, it doesn't feel like one. It's a very much more traditional straight barrel, but that actually suits me. So with regard to throwing then, what I did with these is I've already thrown them, and straight away I was really impressed with them. I didn't use the flights and stems that came with them, but they are only regular Pro Grip stems and regular flights in number 2 here as it happens. So rather that, I just used the tail end. I used a Pro Grip short there with, this is a Harrows Silka number 6 in fact, because they generally have been suiting me lately better, number 6, but whatever, that's kind of by the by. So I'd had those loaded up and they were throwing really quite nicely. I've got to say, some of the grouping was wonderful with them. Sometimes I had a little bit of trouble just with the weights. I think that was my fault rather than the dart, but they were definitely throwing in a nice straight direction, getting lots of treble 20s, but you know, the inevitable kind of 80s and 81s and stuff like that, rather than ton 20s, ton 40s, what have you. But they were kind of there or thereabouts, and thrown really nicely with the time that I'd spent with them. I'll just show you a few throws now actually. And so after throwing them like that for a little while, I thought what I'll do is actually change them up now. Let's just see if I can tune them and get them just nice, just how I'd like them. And I had these Harrows Super Grip spinners in terms of the stems, and then an Al Style number 2 flight on there. And these actually came, I think I got these with a pair of, or set of second-hand darts that I'd bought, so I didn't actually buy this setup, but they've been kicking around on the side for various kind of tuning and trial purposes. So I loaded these up, put these on, and literally within about 2 minutes of putting these on, this happened. $180. Just take this off the mount. Excuse the vibrations and movement. And there we have it, guys. So these little bad boys are, I believe this is the 4th visit with these flights. I did have them with some some Pro Grip Target stems and some Harrows Silka flights in number 6, and I was getting some quite nice results with them, and I thought I'll just switch it up and see how they handle an all-in-one. And this is a number 2 all-in-one system here with some spinny flights on, and it's literally the 4th visit. I think I've had these on for like 2 minutes, and there's the 180. So awesome. Fantastic, great darts. So there you go then, folks. If you're looking for a dart that's maybe not exactly Phil Taylor himself, it's more of a name branding thing rather than a dart design thing. But if you're looking for a decent, 80% tungsten dart with nice grippy areas, front, rear and middle, that's tunable, I tell you what, you wouldn't go far wrong with these. And I've got to say, the points themselves were sticking in nicely. Admittedly, the dartboard is new, so that probably has a little bit of an effect on things. But honestly, for a set that comes with 3 sets of, bona fide pro grip stems, 3 sets of flights, point holder, darts counter membership, all that for 20 quid, and to go in a little wallet to take out as well if you're going down the old rubber dub for a game or going around to your friends, you can't beat it. So I'm just super pleased to have come across these guys. So hopefully you found that video interesting. Perhaps you might want to look out for a set for yourself. Definitely, if you can get them at the price I paid for them, go for it, because you can pay sort of £13–15 for a big brass set, although there again, not as bad as you may think. Check out the videos I've done on some of those. But certainly if you've got £20 to £30 to spend and you're looking for value rather than, player endorsement in its own right, then these would be good for you. Yes, they are player endorsed, but they're not, that's not really the point of these darts in today's video. The fact is, it was just the fact that the price was so good to get an 80% tungsten dart for 20 quid with all this stuff. I think you'd be laughing. So thanks very much for watching. I'll be back soon. All the best for now. Bye bye.